As we dig into the Madison city referendum, the city asking residents to pay more in taxes to help address a deficit. Our Ellie LaLiberte breaks down what it could mean for you.
This is the capital budget. It's responsible for things like roads and other building projects in the city of Madison. And this is the operating budget. It's responsible for city staff and city operations. And this is the one with the $22 million deficit. Caitlin Vagley's kids love the library.
We probably have 50 books checked out at a time.
She says her family goes at least once a week.
This space is just amazing. There's so much to do when it's cold or rainy. There's all different types of toys, so regardless of what your kid's interested in.
But how often they use the library could soon change. Madison Mayor Sati Rhodes Conway explains why.
If the referendum doesn't pass, folks will see reduced library hours on Sundays. They'll see, and I think we're cutting almost all library programming.
That referendum is asking voters this question on your screen. It's about increasing the levy for funding of city services, including the library. It's all to help make up for the $22 million deficit in the city's operating budget.
I think our community is generous and willing to invest in Madison's future.
If the referendum is approved, it would increase the average Madisonian's property taxes by roughly $230 a year. But the city wants you to think of it like just 60 cents a day. That 60 cents a day would keep the budget looking largely the same as years past.
If the referendum passes, it's a pretty boring budget. It's basically just continuing the things that we have been doing with a few small changes, not a whole lot to talk about.
But if the referendum does not pass, that saved $230 a year will result in more than just library cuts for the Vagley family.
And I think, obviously it impacts us a lot for, kid programming.
Residents could also see reductions to Metro bus services, likely cutting hours and routes. Reduction in leaf, brush, and recycling drop-off sites, a loss of funding for the Office of the Independent Police Monitor, and 18 city jobs will also be lost or not filled.
We need the referendum to, again, give us that time to work with the state. And if we can pass this referendum, we can balance the budget for 6 years.
But not all are happy with the plan, including former Madison Mayor Paul Soglin, arguing the city should have already been lobbying for change at the state level.
It's real simple. The city of Madison needs a government relations lobbyist program.
But taxes will increase no matter if the referendum passes or not. If it does not pass, the average Madisonian will still see an $83 a year increase. That's the most the city's allowed to raise taxes by.
We have limits placed on us by the state legislature about how much those revenues can increase and the kinds of revenues that we can use to help pay for those services and outcomes.
But some Madison residents, like Bonnie Rowe, say it's still too much.
I find it sad that people who have had their homes long paid off are sometimes not able to afford just their property tax bill.
Caitlin, as a homeowner, understands sacrifices residents would make.
I think it's always hard when you're raising things like property taxes and, requiring families that are already stretched thin.
But just like Caitlin, the choice will be up to you this November. Madison is not the only city in our area going to referendum. Both Fitchburg and Monona are asking their residents for more money. Tomorrow, I'll talk with a financial expert to see why cities are relying on their residents for funding. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.